Well, Joe, how do you put that game in Singapore behind you, I guess, and move on very quickly to the league leaders?
Yeah, I guess pretty easily in respect of the games tomorrow. So, we need to forget about it as quickly as possible. And as you say, we've got a huge game tomorrow. And yeah, need to make sure we get a positive result.
Yeah, we know it was on AstroTurf. It was like 90% humidity or whatever it is in Singapore every day. Is it harder to recover after that and flying over here?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine so. Those are all things that probably, don't help the situation, but, we can't have excuses, and we've got to just make sure that we go out with the right mentality tomorrow, and we know how big of a game it is for us, and, them also, they're going to be firing and desperate to get a result. So we know it's going to be a tough game, and we've just got to go in with the right mentality and make sure we start well.
How is the squad feeling fitness-wise? I know there's a lot of games in those midweek games. Can kind of catch up to you? You guys feel ready for tomorrow and ready for the big month ahead?
Yeah, we come in today. We make sure we recover right and do everything we can to get in the best shape possible for tomorrow. Obviously, it's never super easy when you got loads of games and they're backing up pretty quickly. But we do the best we can to make sure we're ready, and yeah, we'll make sure we play well tomorrow.
So finals is still obviously on the line, but coming up against some of the best teams, and obviously Auckland at the top of the comp, is that a good way to build into the final series, having to play the best teams in the comp so far?
Yeah. Every game in this league is difficult, as I think we've shown. As every game, as you've seen, anything can happen. This league's pretty crazy like that. So I guess we're not concentrating too much about who we're playing at the moment. We just need to make sure we get the right results, whoever that is against, and it's pretty tight up there. So we're just concentrating on ourselves and making sure we put in the best performances we can do, and hopefully that can get us into the six, and then from there it's anyone's game.
How many goals do you feel safe with nowadays, Joe? Because the team's been conceding too many, right? So you just got to keep scoring.
Yeah, it's something that we strive to improve, and we're happy on one end that we're an exciting team and that we score goals and we create a lot of chances, and but also defensively, we need to be stronger. But that comes from all of us, as 11, not just as a back four. We've got to make sure that up the top of the pitch we're all doing our job as well, and it starts right from the top. So as a team we need to do better in every aspect. But yeah, we had some moments where we had clean sheets and things like that, so it's hard to really pinpoint exactly, but we just got to make sure that we're better in every department of the pitch, because if we want to be successful, we're going to have to make sure we're on the top of our game.
How much fuel have you got in the tank for the running to the finals and hopefully the finals? And how much hunger, I guess?
Yeah, it's the most exciting part of the season, and we've got a lot of huge games coming up. Every game is cliche, but it is like a cup final. We're fighting to get into the top six, and we're top six at the moment, but fighting to make sure we make it, and we're fighting to try and get into the final of the Elite Champions League. So it's every game is hard, every game's difficult, but everyone here is so motivated to end this season strongly and turn this season into a really successful one.
Yeah, Ufuk was telling us he's going to try and rotate the squad obviously a bit with all these games coming in quick succession. But do you put your hand up and say I'm ready to play all three? Like, is everyone must be keen, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but from a personal standpoint, you always just want to get out there and play, and I don't want to be sitting watching. So if I don't know what his thoughts are and what his decisions are going to be regarding the games tomorrow coming up, but I'm always desperate to play, and I know I'm sure all the boys are. So yeah, we're all ready, and it's very much just a mental battle rather than we're all physically capable. So yeah.
And how keen are you for a crack at Auckland? You've only played them, I think it was 20 rounds ago or whatever it was, and it was a contentious game anyway. And it was after you played in Hiroshima. How keen are you to have a proper crack at them tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, first game, I didn't come off injured after 25 minutes, so I didn't really get much of a go against them. They've been been great this season, and they are where they are because that's where they deserve to be, and they've played well, and they're very difficult to beat and score against, and provide a good threat. So it'll be a great test, and yeah, it'll be a difficult game. It's something that we need to work on breaking teams down in probably a lower block, and also they're strong on the counter. So again, that's another challenge for us, and making sure we're better in that department. So yeah, hopefully it's always good to play the team at the top of the table, and if you get a good result, it definitely brings confidence.
Off that game as well, you mentioned the difficult conditions for the middle of the league, but coming up to the clash next Wednesday, being at home, does that give you the confidence that you can overturn the 2-goal deficit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're a team that can score a lot of chances, can create a lot of chances, and score a lot of goals. We, at home we're usually pretty strong, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a season, and even the last game, John Buck, where they pulled 2 goals back, and we scored 3 in the second half. So football can change so quickly, and obviously we're not really focused on Wednesday at the moment, but when the time comes, we'll be ready, and we'll be very confident we can turn it around.
In terms of Auckland, they're in a sort of position that they've obviously never been in before, and they've stumbled a little bit of late. Is that something that the pressure that's probably on them leading into these final few games to win the Premier's play, is that something that potentially Sydney FC can take advantage of?
Yeah, potentially. As you say, they're not used to being in that position. Obviously, it's their first season. They've done brilliant. They're not necessarily a team that blow teams away. They're very structured and organised, and they're difficult to play against. So we've got to make sure that we maintain possession, and we keep the ball and limit their chances that they can create from set pieces and counter attacks, and that'll probably give us the best opportunity. And as you say, they've got teams now chasing their tails, and that might create a bit of nerves for them, and hopefully we can that'll play into our hands.
And obviously coming up against the head coach who used to be here at Sydney FC, you played under him for a season. Do you think you would probably know a little bit more about what he's telling his players to do against Sydney FC?
I mean, yeah, surely he'll have some information on the players that he's coached. He's done brilliant since going over there, and I know he'll be desperate to beat us, and especially at home, and it'll be a huge result for them. So we know how fired up they're going to be and how motivated they'll be to win this game. So we need to make sure we match that, and yeah, we put our best possible performance in.
Perfect.